Hey, get out of here. This is people food. I didn't wait in line 15 minutes just to spend it on a dog. Strays. Man, this dog's still at it.
Oh, you just are too cute. Looks like you haven't eaten in a long time, though. Well, I may not have much, but I know what it's like to be hungry. Look, that's for you. There you go. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I saw what you did for that dog earlier. Thank you for being such a great example of kindness. I hope this helps.
Thought I wasn't gonna eat today. Thank you.
No, thank you.
I was still a thief when I met Anil. Though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful hand.
The story starts with I, which refers to the narrator, who is a thief. He meets a person named Anil. In these lines, we get a short description of the thief. He is 15 years old and is very experienced and good at his work, that is, robbing others. Here, fairly successful hand refers to workmanship or being good at something.
Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing, kind and simple for my purpose. I hadn't much luck of late, and though I might be able to get into the young man's confidence.
Here you will find the narration of thief's meeting with Anil. Their meeting took place when Anil was watching a wrestling match. We can also get an idea of the physical descriptions of Anil. He is about 25. He is tall, lean and easygoing. Easygoing is a hyphenated compound word which means a very relaxed attitude. He is so kind and simple that the thief can easily rob him. The thief didn't have enough opportunity to steal others lately, and he thought that he could impress Anil as a dependable person.
You look a bit of a wrestler yourself, I said. Flattery helps in making friends. So do you, he replied, which put me off for a moment, because at that time I was rather thin. Well, I said modestly, I do wrestle a bit. What's your name? Hari Singh, I lied. I took a new name every month. That kept me ahead of the police and my former employers.
This is the introductory conversation between Anil and the thief. I hope you might have observed a speciality of this thief. He doesn't rob people or break into a house at night like most other thieves do. He tries to make good relationship with people whom he wants to rob. Once he gets into their confidence, he robs them. The meaning of flattery is praising someone without sincerity. According to the thief, praising someone is a good option for starting a friendship. I don't know whether you agree, but you can think about it. At the end of the conversation, we get a name for the thief. He says he is Hari Singh, but he lies. He takes different names so that he can escape from police and the people whom he has cheated earlier.
After this introduction, Anil talked about well-oiled wrestlers who were grunting, lifting and throwing each other about. I didn't have much to say. As Anil walked away, I followed him casually. Hello again, he said. I gave him my most appealing smile. I want to work with you, I said. But I can't pay you. I thought over that for a minute. Perhaps I had misjudged my man. Can you feed me? I asked. Can you cook? I can cook, I lied again. If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you.
In these lines, you will see Anil talking about the wrestlers. Hari Singh starts to follow Anil as he wants to work for him. He also gives an attractive smile to Anil. This smile is important, as you will see about his different smile towards the end of the story. At the end of this conversation, you will find Anil agrees to take Hari Singh to work for him as a cook without even paying him.
He took me to his room over the Jumna sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. The meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. But I just hung around smiling in my most appealing way, and he could not help laughing.
This paragraph shows that Hari Singh doesn't know anything about cooking, but still Anil decides to keep him. Here too, you will find that appealing smile on the face of Hari Singh again.
Later he patted me on the head and told me that he would teach me to cook. He also taught me to write my name and said he would soon teach me to write whole sentence and to add numbers. I was grateful. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve.
In this paragraph, Hari Singh realizes the fact that if he is educated, he could rob people in a better way. Better the education, better the earning. He learns from Anil how to write his name.
It was pleasant working for Anil. I made tea in the morning and then would take my time buying the day's supplies, usually making a profit of about ₹1 a day. I think Anil knew this, that I made a little money this way, but he was not bothered.
Hari Singh is happy to work for Anil. His works are quite easy and he is able to make little profit from them. Anil knows about it, but he doesn't mind it.
Anil made money by fits and starts. He would borrow 1 week, lend the next. He kept worrying about his next check. But as soon as it arrived, he would go out and celebrate. It seems he wrote for a magazine a queer way to make.
This paragraph says about the lifestyle of Anil. He is a writer. He is a carefree man. He celebrates whenever he has an opportunity. Hari Singh considers writing as a strange way of earning money.
Make a living. One evening, he came with a small bundle of notes, saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. At night, I saw him tuck the money under the mattress. I had been working for Anil almost a month, and apart from cheating on the shopping, had not done anything in my line of work. I had every opportunity for doing so. I was given a key to the door, and I could come and go as I pleased. Anil was the most trusting person I had ever met. Hence, it was very difficult to rob Anil. It's easy to rob a greedy man because he can afford to be robbed. But it's difficult to rob a careless man. Sometimes he doesn't even notice he is being robbed and takes all the pleasure out of the work.
One day, Anil gets a good amount of money which he keeps under the mattress. Hari Singh, who is not able to do anything big in his line of work, that is stealing, sees this as an opportunity. He is able to do it easily as he is given the key to the door. That is the reason why he says Anil is the most trusting person he has ever met. Now let us discuss a philosophical thought said by Hari Singh in the last paragraph. He says, it's easy to rob a greedy person because he would most probably be a rich person as he is thinking about only accumulating money. But what about a careless person? Hari Singh doesn't find any pleasure in stealing a careless person, as a careless person doesn't even realize that he is robbed. Is Anil a careless person? Yes. First of all, he gives job to a stranger, and also he has given him the keys to the door. When someone has keys to the door, it's easy to steal. But Hari Singh says, it's difficult to rob Anil, and I hope you understand why he says so.
Well, it's time I did some real work, I told myself. I am out of practice. If I don't take the money, he will only waste it on his friends. He doesn't even pay me. Anil was asleep. Beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. I sat on the floor considering the situation. I thought if I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. My hands slid under the mattress, searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned towards me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room.
This passage describes how Hari Singh manages to steal the money and get out of the house. He is able to do it easily as he has experience in it. Here the sentence colored in yellow can be taken for a reflection. Hari Singh says that the face of Anil is clear and unlined. The word unlined means no worries. Anil trusts him so much that he is never worried about losing money. But the face of Hari Singh has marks. Here the marks on the face refers to two things. The first thing is that there are marks on his face as he is worried and tensed for stealing the money of someone who trusts him and takes care of him. The other thing is that as he is a thief, he would have fought with people to escape which might have left marks on his face, and that's why he calls them scars.
On the road, I began to run. The notes were at my waist, held there by the strings of my pajamas. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. On reaching the station, I didn't stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life, but dashed straight to the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. The train had still to pick up speed, and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages, but I hesitated. For some reason, I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. When the train had gone, I was alone on the deserted platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing friends were more trouble than help. I didn't want to stay at one of the small hotels near the station to make anyone curious. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. Leaving the station, I walked through the bazaar.
The story then continues with the escapade of Hari Singh from Anil. He goes to the railway station with the money where he can catch the train. But for some unknown reason, he misses the train. Here I leave that to you to think about the reason why he is not able to get into the train. He then starts walking through the bazaar, as he had no other place to go. Here we can reflect on the highlighted sentence. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. Is it true? Can friends be more trouble than help? You can think over it and form your own answers.
In my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. The greedy man showed fear, rich man showed anger, poor man showed acceptance. But I knew that Anil's face would show touch of sadness when he discovered the theft. Not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust.
The highlighted part in the yellow color is the study result made by Hari Singh on people's face. Do you know there is an ancient art called face reading or physiognomy that analyzes a person's character from his face? Hari Singh says that greedy man shows fear, rich man anger, and poor men acceptance when they lose their goods. Anil would be sad, not because he has lost his money, but for the loss of his trust on Hari Singh.
I sat on a bench in the Maidan. It was a chilly early November night, and little drizzle added to my discomfort. Soon it started raining heavily. My shirt and pajamas stuck to my skin, and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. I went to the bazaar and sat in the shelter of the clock tower. Clock showed midnight. I felt for the notes. They were damped from the rain. It was Anil's money. Probably in the morning he could have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema. But now I had it all. I couldn't cook his meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. I had forgotten all this in the excitement of the theft. Whole sentences I knew could one day bring me more than few hundred rupees. It was simple to steal, and sometimes just as simple to be caught. But to be a really big man, clever and respected man, was something else. I should go back to Anil, I told myself, if only to learn to read and write.
These lines in the story will show how a person's way of treating another person can bring a change in their lives. For the first time in his life, Hari Singh decides to go back to a person whom he has robbed. You can see a change in his attitude towards life. A positive change is taking place in his mind as he is sitting under the clock tower. He realizes that it's easy to steal or be caught, but to be a respectful person is not so easy. It's something else.
I hurried back to the room, feeling very nervous, for it is easier to steal something than to return it undetected. I opened the door quietly, stood in the doorway. In clouded moonlight, Anil was still asleep. I crept to the head of the bed and my hand came up with the notes. I could feel his breath on my hand. I remained still for a minute. My hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the notes.
In this paragraph, we can see Hari Singh becoming successful in keeping the money back undetected and going to his room to sleep as nothing has happened.
When I woke up next morning, Anil had already made the tea. He was standing with a 50-rupee note between his fingers. My heart sank. I thought I had been discovered. I made some money, explained Anil. Now you will be paid regularly. My spirits rose. When I took the note, I noticed it was still wet from the night rain. Today we will start writing sentences. He knew everything, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way, and the smile came by itself without any efforts.
As we come to the close of the story, you will find a different morning in Hari Singh's life. Today, Anil has made tea for him. There are two phrases, my heart sank and spirit rose. They show two separate emotions on Hari Singh. Later he realizes that Anil knew everything about the previous day. If he wanted, he could have handed him over to the police. But Anil didn't do it. Anil might have realized that Hari Singh is no longer a thief. He is a changed man. Acts of kindness and love he received from Anil has changed him to become a better person. Now let us come to the last part. Here again you will find the mention of Hari Singh smiling for the third time. But now there is a difference in his smile. The smile came by itself without any effort. I want all of you to compare the smile mentioned for the first and second time with this smile which came without any effort. What's the difference? Think, reflect and find out.